In this tutorial, we're going to cover how to adjust the sort order of tag numbers and also hardware sets. And we'll start with hardware sets first. When you come into the door schedule form here, door and hardware schedule, if you look under the door schedule tags, there's two places here. One is order tag numbers and the other is order hardware sets after entering all hardware set numbers. And you can see the order right now, it's all set to 0. And when this list comes up, it does sort this list, but because the way the computer works, it will sort numbers or numerics differently than the way it will sort alphanumeric characters. If this was just numbers, it would be sorted correctly. It would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to, and then go to 10. But because the hardware sets can have letters, or they can just be letters. Like example down here, this goes 5 and then 5A. In the same way with a tag number. A tag number could have a number and a number and letter, or just all letters. So computers sort differently the letters and numbers, or text rather, let's put it that way, than it does numbers. So this is the result, and because of this, when you look at the hardware sets, and when it prints out, this is what it'll look like. You start with number set 1, and it jumps to 10, 11, 12, and all the way up, and then it finally gets to 3, 4, 5, or whatever's next. So you can adjust that, and to do it on the hardware sets, you'll come in here, and all you do is simply start typing in the order that you want them to show up in. So I'm going to do start here with number 1 for hardware set 1. And it doesn't look like we have a 2, so I'm going to jump down here to 3, and that'll be 2, 3, 4, 5. And I do want 5A after 5. If you wanted to reverse, then you would just reverse those numbers. Then we'll do 6, 7, 8, 9, and then go back up here. This will be 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, and 14. Okay, so once I have them in the correct order that I want them in here, I'll click Save, and it tells me the hardware sets will now appear in the order you have chosen when printed. So we'll say OK. If we view hardware sets now, there's 1, 3, 4. Now they're in the correct order when I print them out. That's the way I want them to come out, so I don't have to manually sort the papers after they print it. Okay, now for door schedule, tag numbers. You have the same thing over here, where you can go actually type in the order and how you want them to show up. Look down here, we've got number 1 way down here, and we actually would want number 1 up here. So you can do it here, but there's another way with door schedule, or the door schedule you can do. If you come under the door schedule form, it's loading the form now, since this is the first time we've opened it up. And when it does, you can see we have this right here. We have door number 4 way down here after 8. Now these are the hardware sets, so that does nothing to do with the order. So number 4 is way down here after 8. I want 4 to be up here in front of 4A. So one thing I can do using this door schedule form, which might be a little quicker than coming under this form and trying to type in all the numbers, especially if you have a large job. We'll come under the door schedule form, and what I'll do is I'll double click 4 here, so that it opens up here. And when it does open, I'm going to use this little section right here. This comes in handy even when you're adding a new door. So let's say you're doing a revised schedule, and you created a copy maybe of this, and now you want to, on this revised schedule, the architect has added a door or 2 or more. You can actually insert those doors in a particular place right here. So this number 4, I want it to show up before 4A. So I'm going to click this box here to insert before tag, and then I'm going to type 4A in the box. Now all I have to do is click Save Door Frame, and when I do that, it actually has to reload now because we made a change. Now, okay, I've got 4 before 4A. That's where I wanted it. Now I've got one more I've got down here and move this door number 1, so I'll double click 1, get it to open up, and I want 1 to show up before 2. So check before, type 2, save door frame. And it reloads, and now you can see we've got door number 1 where we want it. So this is the way it'll show up when we look at the door schedule. View door schedule here. Go over to the end. Go back 1. There we go. So now they're in the correct order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4A. And that's the way I want them to show up when I print out this door schedule. Okay, now one thing I want to point out while we're talking about this, you have a Save Door Schedule Changes here. This button, you really only need to use that when you're making changes in this grid. For example, if I want to type in the values into the grid itself, and I can go down the list. I can do that to almost any one of these cells in here. Then I would click Save Door Schedule Changes. But what's going to happen is this, because this button, it actually looks at each and every cell in this grid, and it looks for any changes that may have taken place, and then it will save the change accordingly. So this is kind of a long-running process, so you need to give it time before using this Save Door Schedule Changes. But it does save the entire schedule. This button here will take care of whatever you need to do. Typically, if you want to just open up an opening, if you want to put in multiple openings, put in additional tags, and click Save Door Frame, and that'll take care of it. So that should do it. Again, you do have the option over here to go down this list. Now that's not sorted right because I have to reload the job. It did not. Now if we look at that, now we have the tags in the correct order. So that's how you take care of that. If you have any questions on this, please give us a call. We'll be more than happy to help you out and work with you. Thanks again for your time.